Previously on the trial of the Flash, brain enhancement and plastic surgery done by super intelligent gorillas, creepypasta faces, a real life Picasso, ridiculous supervillain names, and the best issue of the entire storyline so far that was unfortunately a Silver Age reprint. Whoops. Which leads us to... The issue begins with someone or something escaping the future and going to the past. Wait, didn't this happen 4 to 5 issues ago? Also, the future police are pathetic. Why hasn't anyone been sent back in time to stop this villain like in Time Cop? Also, there's a very lazy Crisis of Infinite Earths reference. Meanwhile, back in court, the DA coaxes Wally to give different ways Barry could have subdued the Reverse Flash without killing him. Cecilia counters with the hindsight being 2020 argument. Meanwhile, some disembodied energy form resembling the Flash is flying around the city taking out the rogues. At the same time, up in the tree, Cecilia snoops on the Allens and starts to put the pieces together. Later in court, Barry figures out what crackpot scheme that Cecilia is about to pull. She yanks off his mask to show Barry just some dark-haired, grimacing dude. Why is everyone shocked? He doesn't look that bad. Also, Cecilia's crazy eyes as she's yanking off the mask. Is this a fetish of hers? The issue begins with Fiona fading again. She's rushed to the hospital and is in grave condition. Later on, Cecilia reveals to her assistant her thought process, and while everyone thinks she's nuts and wrong, she's actually 100% right. Well, it looks like Fiona is fine now and has finally put Barry in her past. God damn, this plot point was so stupid. Why wasn't she just written out of the story 20 issues ago? Next, we see some doctors walk into a room where the Pied Piper was allowed to work with some high-tech sonic machines even though he's bat-crap insane. So it shouldn't be any surprise when he uses the sonics on the staff and escapes, but not before putting on his costume. Question. What's the Pied Piper's real name? I thought it was Harley, but the doctor here says it's Henry. Well, which is it, Mr. Bates? While escaping, someone drops a tree on him. When he looks to see who did it, he loses what's left of his mind again. Meanwhile, the Flash catches up and comforts Cecilia and tells her that she was right about his identity all along. He gives her the lowdown of what happened. Cecilia further proves my point of her being the best character in the entire storyline by pointing out what he did was idiotic. The Reverse Flash killed Iris, and if the jury knew the Flash was Barry, they'd be easy on him and he'd be found not guilty. For a reason of insanity, I imagine. Psst. Hey, do you know the reason he gave for changing his face? Get this. Because of Fiona. The stress of seeing Barry again would make her relapse. Bullshit. Not once in this entire storyline did he ever show that he gave a damn about Fiona. You know what? Do you know how I know that? Due to the fact that he never revealed his secret identity to her. He did it with Iris. Granted, it took years, but still he revealed it to Iris before they got married. Oh, but he can't do that with Fiona? Hell, I could make an argument that he is the reason for all of her current troubles. Everything he's done in this storyline, he did for selfish reasons. This Barry Allen, as written by Cary Bates, is an unlikable, selfish bastard. You know what though? I honestly believe that Mr. Bates probably didn't see it this way. I actually think he believes Barry is coming off as a good guy. Based on everything that's happened in this storyline, his motivation doesn't make a lick of sense. This is so stupid, but I'll go more into this in part 8, the finale of this retrospective. God damn this comic. Anyway, Cecilia still disagrees with Barry's decision and displays more emotional range than Barry's shown this entire story by shedding a single tear. I feel the same way, Cecilia. This story is very sad indeed. The next day, a bus carrying all of the jurors capsizes into the river. The Flash saves them without them knowing because he didn't want this to be seen as tampering and didn't get a mistrial. You're a superhero, well, kind of now, and you're saving people. I think the judge would understand. Personally, I don't see the point of this scene even happening. While this is happening, Mr. Newberry gives his worst Snidely Whiplash impersonation. The issue ends with a crook stealing a woman's purse and Captain Fry chasing him into an alley only to be confronted by the Reverse Flash. Wait, what? The issue begins with a mysterious, bruised-up stranger visiting Cecilia, and she greets him with a hot drink and some crazy eyes for some reason. Why, it's Captain Fry, and he trumps her by giving her a double dose of crazy eyes too. He tells her that the Reverse Flash is alive, and his proof is that the Reverse Flash did a Three Stooges on his face. While that's happening, the Mirror Master's home explodes and he gets punched in the face by the Reverse Flash. Meanwhile, a shooter on a ledge is planning on killing one of the jurors, primarily the pointing, sharp, mustachioed guy. Wait a minute, he's not a shooter, he's just some random burglar. Is it really worth climbing several stories, risking your life and limb just for a few bucks? Anyway, the mustachioed man mentally makes the crook give up. I knew it. No one with that type of facial hair can be trusted. Question. Page 8, panel 1. Just how is he holding that cup of coffee? The next day, the Flash is on the stand and all's going well until the DA, while cross-examining him, points out that the Flash may have had a reason to kill the Reverse Flash based on their past history. You know, killing his wife and everything. Cecilia doesn't take this turn of events very well. With the exception of last issue, she's been a great lawyer. So I don't understand why she didn't see this line of questioning happening when she let Barry onto the stand. Elsewhere, Captain Fry is at his brother's house for the express purpose to make him a cyborg. Across town, Weather Wizard and the Trickster are having a disagreement on who gets to keep the loot that Weather Wizard just stole. The conflict ends when the Reverse Flash arrives and plays the Stop Hitting Yourself game with the Weather Wizard. At that moment, back in court, Cecilia is giving her closing argument. Still at that moment, Captain Fry figures if he can't help the Flash as a cop, he can as a superhero. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the return of Captain Incredible. Who? Oh boy, sit back, this is gonna take a minute. Well, I'll try to be brief. Okay, see, Captain Fry, after being inspired by the Flash, he decided to become a superhero. There's just a few problems. 1, he's most likely in his mid-40s. 2, he's in such bad shape that he has to use a pacemaker. 3, he didn't know what the heck he was doing. And 4, his terrible fashion sense. I mean, come on, look at that suit. The headpiece looks like a sad walrus. Well, Barry, as the Flash, was able to convince him to stop superheroing. I guess it didn't take. Now back to the story. After the DA curls his lip while giving his closing argument, it's time for the jury to deliberate. Cecilia tells Barry of what Captain Fry said happened to him. Before I continue, the layout on page 18 is a bit weird. In order to read it correctly, I have to go up, down, up, instead of the easier left to right motion. Anywho, Barry searches for Fry and realizes that he's probably Captain Incredible again. Meanwhile, and I've been saying that a lot, haven't I? Captain Incredible is on patrol and he sees Captain Cold and decides to take him down as practice before he takes on the Reverse Flash. Sure, that's how that works. Well, the Reverse Flash arrives and takes out Captain Cold with a pimp slap. He then kicks Fry over the edge, only to be saved by the Flash. Fry gives him the proof of the Reverse Flash being alive, and I just wonder, how is it possible for Barry to catch Fry and not see or sense the Reverse Flash? Wouldn't he be able to see him? Wouldn't each other of them be able to see each other's streaks? Whatever, we still have 3 issues left of this mess. The issue begins with Captain Fry showing Barry the proof of the Reverse Flash still being alive. He thanks the captain by running away without saying anything. Jerk. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but even though the jury is deliberating on this, couldn't this evidence be used to clear the Flash? After all, if the person you're on trial for murdering is alive and trying to murder other people, I think that would mean that the Flash should be able to get off, right? Meanwhile, the jury are arguing and smoking up a storm. While that's happening, Barry goes to his parents' place to take a nap. Why do they have blue hair? Also, while that's happening, Captain Fry gives Cecilia pretty much the same info he gave her 3 issues ago. She's far more shocked now, though, for some reason. While that's happening, Captain Boomerang is having a leisurely flight on his boomerang, and like a jerk, the Reverse Flash smashes it and drags him off. Over the next couple pages, we go back and forth with the Reverse Flash taking out and kidnapping a villain and a scene with the jury. The jury is deadlocked, but then Nathan Newberg, the mustachio guy, proposes something. At that moment, while at the Central City Police Headquarters, Cecilia finds out on the computer that the rogues are missing. This entire scene is redundant because On page 7, the news already gave this same information. Back with the jury, it seems Mr. Newberry figures since none of you can make up your own minds, I'm taking you on a trip.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip. With a friend? No way!
So he uses his sonic screwdriver and takes everyone to the past. As Ghost, he not only shows what happened at the moment the Reverse Flash tried to kill Fionn, but gives away the Flash's secret identity. Newberry says this isn't coercion, but I don't know. Well, this is the DC universe, so... On the way back to the present, Newberry gets taken out by the Reverse Flash, who uses a magic wand. Oh, real subtle, Mr. Bates. He then proceeds to mind control the jury. Hey, that's coercion. The issue ends with Barry back in court, only to find out that he's been found guilty as charged. The issue begins with the guilty verdict being given and with Cecilia giving perhaps her best crazy-eyed expression ever. The media immediately runs out of the court happy for such a great scoop. They then try to get an interview with Cecilia, no dice. They then try to talk to Nathan Newberry, no dice, because he suddenly starts to run away way too fast. So fast that he turns into the Reverse Flash. The next page shows how the judgment has affected those close to Barry. His parents, Wally, Ralph and Sue Dibney, the curator from the Flash Museum for some reason, but never the Justice League. Captain Fry and Cecilia briefly visit Barry in jail, still in the Flash suit. Is he gonna spend his entire time there dressed like that? It seems he was released on his own reconnaissance until sentencing, but instead he just wanted to be put into a jail cell. In part 8, the finale, I'll explain why this is incredibly stupid. Well, out of nowhere, Nathan Newberry, the real one anyway, appears in Barry's jail cell. This isn't gonna turn X-rated, is it? Well, he magics Barry back to an empty courtroom. While that's happening, the rogues are trapped in a small rectangular clear box. The Reverse Flash magics in and they all talk smack at each other. Meanwhile, the Flash stares down Nathan without opening his eyes, and Nathan seems to be missing his. Okay everyone, this is where it starts getting weird. Nathan lets Barry know that he's a time traveler and the death of the Reverse Flash upset the time stream since he died over 500 years before he was supposed to be born, creating an anomaly. Now to minimize the damage this caused, the time traveler's mind was sent back into the past and put into Nathan Newberry. That's what happened when he was hit by that random lightning bolt several issues back. So he was going to use Nathan Newberry to get the Flash acquitted. Well, in the future, the Flash wound up being acquitted, but the anomaly caused possible alternate realities to appear. I'm sorry, I read this story several times. I'm still having a lot of trouble trying to summarize it and keeping it straight. Their conversation ends with Nathan just basically recapping the last 2 issues too. The issue ends with the rogues still disbelieving that the Reverse Flash is still alive. Heck, they blew up his body and casket over 20 issues ago. He's got to be an imposter. Guess what? They're right, because in the last panel we see his back and that's it. Next time on the trial of the Flash, the true master villain is finally revealed. Honest this time. Convoluted and absurd answers to very simple questions. More crazy eyes and silly pointy mustaches. A really bad Bugs Bunny joke. And a happy ending that isn't earned. Hi, this is DR again. I just wanted to say something at the end of this. You're going to notice with part 7, unlike with parts 4 through 6, it's going to be in mostly black and white. The reason for that is I did part 7 right after I did part 3, and I didn't have any colored images to put into the video. Now I have access to those images. And also originally part 7, I wasn't going to do a single issue. I was only going to review that issue 350 as part of the graphic descriptions comic book reviews. Well, things changed, so I figured I would just put that as part 7 and fill in the rest later. Now, at some point, maybe I'll go back and re-edit and put in the color images for that, but over the last 2 years, it's only gotten a couple hundred views, and I don't really see any real justification to do that. Now, if there's a spike in viewership and views with this retrospective, then I will go back and re-edit everything and put in color images for everything and eliminate the audio problems of the earlier parts. That's all I got to say. See you with the next video.